Have you recorded a video that's to be released once you die?
Well,
MrBeast's life is anything but safe. From being stalked by a billionaire from Dubai to surviving an accident where his driver died, I'm going to show you guys 7 times MrBeast was almost killed. First on the roster would be one of the most insane things anyone may have ever have to experience because more than 2,000 people hung around Jimmy's hotel just to meet him. The hotel had to be set to emergency mode and Jimmy employed a lot of bodyguards just to leave town. It all started when Jimmy and his team were making preparations for his Antarctica video. And since you can't take a straight flight from the United States to Antarctica, they had to get to and stay in Chile for a little while. Now, before he got to book his room, a random stranger recognized Jimmy and asked for a photo. Being the kind-hearted person that he's known as, he stopped to take a picture with a kid.
and I was, in the airport, I was wearing my hoodie, sunglasses, just staring at the floor. I was like, if I don't take any photos, I'll just go straight to the hotel room. No one will know I'm here.
And a few hours later, he came to regret it because the fan he posed with posted the picture to Instagram.
And now there's like 200 people outside this hotel running up and down the hallways, like knocking on doors, trying to figure out which room's me and Carl.
The nightmare began when some stalkers found the picture and concluded MrBeast was in town, so they leaked the complete information of the hotel he was lodging at, and a few hours later, over 200 people were at the hotel's front door. Like the angel that Jimmy is, he decided to come meet those who came to greet him, but after a while, it became so crowded that other people couldn't enter or leave because of all of those outside. The crowd was kicked out by the hotel staff and Jimmy returned to his room, but this didn't stop people from finding a way in and knocking on every door just to find Jimmy. He had to ask the hotel manager to set the hotel to an emergency mode and spend over $30,000 on security. Some fans literally camped outside the hotel, so Jimmy and the gang had to delay their flight for a couple of days. Since this incident, it shouldn't come as a shock if Jimmy declined to take any pictures with fans while traveling. The next incident on our list is actually one that could have ended fatally because MrBeast could have been in the submarine that was supposed to explore the Titanic, but he narrowly escaped this time. See, last year a couple of billionaires paid OceanGate $250,000 to visit the Titanic on a small submarine, and as we know, the crew died a few hours later after submerging. What you may not know is that Jimmy was actually supposed to be a part of that crew. On the 25th of June, a few days after the sub's submergence and then implosion, Jimmy revealed on X that I was invited earlier this month to ride the Titanic submarine. I said no. Kind of scary that I could have been on it. Over 103 million people saw this tweet, and he could have been dead by now if he accepted that random offer. However, some people got suspicious. There were some questions about this screenshot because some people thought that Jimmy was lying by faking these messages for attention, especially after someone noticed and asked why the received text was blue, before replying that one of his friends sent him a screenshot of when he invited him. Some in the replies weren't buying it though, as some believe this said friend who invited MrBeast would probably be dead by now. So let me know what you think down in the comments, because everyone knows Jimmy's resilience to do anything to make the best content, and saying no to such an opportunity spared him his life. Now this other situation may be the most mysterious yet.
I got caught like halfway, and I was like, fuck. I'm fucked.
Jimmy was being stalked by a crazy billionaire from Dubai. The story starts when Jimmy's personal private investigator calls and tells him some rich guy from the Middle East is trying to find him.
Somewhere in the Middle East, this guy hired a private investigator in North Carolina. I have no context to find me.
Now, when Jimmy asked for a reason, the PI didn't say anything, except that his stalker would be arriving in America the very next day. Needless to say, Jimmy was scared. He doubled his security the next day, got them some ammunition, and went to the stalker's hotel.
And my security went with the private investigator to meet him, and my security's just like, why the fuck are you here? Why are you trying to find Jimmy? And the guy's like, I just have video ideas I really want to give him. And my security's like, fuck you. Why are you actually here? And he just kept saying it like 30 times in a row. He's just like, I just want to give him this sheet of ideas. And there's just a piece of paper with video ideas.
As you may have guessed, nobody believed him, and Jimmy's security decided to do a full sweep of his stalker's clothes and personal effects, but didn't find anything incriminating. Jimmy had to lie that he was out of town for security reasons, and his stalker returned to where he came from without meeting him. We'll never know if that was a genuine attempt on Jimmy's life or just a crazy fan.
Because you don't know. Like, they might be trying to kill me. They might be whatever. Of course.
Standing as one of the most popular people on the planet is certain to attract some unwanted attention, so it's no surprise that Jimmy has to stay home most of the time for his safety. But even if Jimmy may not be safe from others' evil intentions, sometimes he's not safe from even himself, because there was a time he almost took his own life.
Stop shaking, you're annoying me.
This was a horrible idea. I would really not recommend any of you guys do this.
In 2018, MrBeast was filming a video that almost became his last, called Spending 24 Hours Straight Underwater Challenge, and things started to go wrong very quickly.
I'm going to attempt to say sit underwater for 24 hours straight.
Jimmy and his friends made an enclosure within the pool with a plastic box as the roof and pinned it to the bottom of the pool, trapping a certain amount of air underwater. Now, we as humans need oxygen to breathe, so they got a tube that was connected to a cylinder of pure oxygen while he was under for the entire challenge. At the beginning of the video, everything seemed fine. Jimmy and Chris were having fun and even eating some snacks underwater, but things began to take a turn. Close to 8 hours later, Jimmy's head began to ache like crazy, and after another 6 hours, Jimmy had to end the challenge earlier than he anticipated. Otherwise, he could have died. His facial expression at the end left no words unsaid. The reason why he couldn't finish the challenge was because of something called carbon dioxide, also known as CO2. You see, Jimmy had been breathing the same air in and out after almost a day, continually increasing the carbon dioxide content within that enclosure because he had to breathe out.
The water was constantly moving. I was just getting really seasick under there. Just after a while, it just really got to me, and I just really couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to power through, but I just couldn't.
When he got out of the water, he thought it was just a really serious case of seasickness, but later on discovered that if he didn't get out when he did, that would have been the last challenge video he would ever make. Up next may be the most shocking because the latest threat to MrBeast's life is one of his best friends, Carl. Not only was Jimmy at the risk of death, but so was the entire friend group, including Chris, Chandler, and Nolan. The almost crime scene is the "I bought the world's largest firework," and it happened during one of the most expensive fireworks in the video. The filming of this video itself was very dangerous and even almost got canceled because of the shockwave from the thousands of fireworks they had detonated. The firework even holds a 4-year-old record of being the biggest and most expensive fireworks show ever made, weighing over 4,000 pounds. Because of Carl, this video could have gone sideways.
Oh, are you kidding me? Look at this one. I can fit inside that. Do you think I could fit my head in this one? Why not?
Carl really wanted to see if he could fit his head in one of these giant fireworks, and you can see how the safety professional stops him immediately. To Carl, it seems just fine because it's inactive, but if he had been just a bit more clumsy, the firework would have triggered and detonated. A firework of that mass and quantity would cause a big explosion, and it would have been insane in general, much less what it could do to a human head. This video almost got banned by YouTube after it got uploaded for dangerous actions, and even fans asked for a video like this to not be made anymore. Not just because it's dangerous, but because some may get themselves injured or even killed trying something similar. Hey, you thought that one was bad? Well, strap in, because now we're going to talk about the latest, most painstaking challenge that almost took his life. In 2022, Jimmy made a video called "I Didn't Eat Food for 30 Days.
I had a whole team of doctors watching me every single day. They kept track of all my vitals like these to ensure I didn't have a heart attack or worse.
Speaking for myself, it's not an easy task to go 30 days straight without eating, but in Jimmy's shoes, it's a more daunting challenge because at the tender age of 15, he was diagnosed with the dangerous disease called Crohn's disease.
Basically, your intestines are inflamed, and because they're inflamed, you don't process food as well. So if I eat something, it would just go right through me, like literally within a day. And because it's so inflamed, it's like someone's just dragging like a knife across your stomach. So it's super painful.
This disease affects your stomach in a way that alters your feeding habits. Jimmy's face was completely covered in pimples and lost over 50 pounds in the space of 3 months, and he had to stay home because it was too inconvenient to go to school. Even in 2024, 11 years after his diagnosis, he's still suffering from this disease and has to stick to a strict diet for the rest of his life. He has also made a couple of videos on his channel about this disease, trying to spread awareness about the ailment. According to medical reports, people with Crohn's disease are prone to die 5 to 8 years quicker than people without. I hope it's more clear why it was an especially dangerous challenge for Jimmy to fast for 30 days. You could clearly see the toll it was taking on him physically and mentally throughout the entirety of this video.
I had to fly out on day 13, so I weighed myself from home. That's 18 pounds under where I started in just 2 weeks.
14 days of this challenge had passed, and he was advised by standby medical professionals to end the challenge early to prevent any serious risks. He took their advice and ended the challenge with a burger on the 15th day by Chef Gordon Ramsay. Jimmy made it no secret this was his hardest challenge to date. The last incident that almost took Jimmy's life was on a trip back home. While driving, Jimmy's driver died in the middle of the highway, which almost killed him and his friend. Apparently, the driver had a serious heart condition, and his heart stopped beating for a couple of minutes. Jimmy had to try to control the car from the passenger seat just to get them off the highway because the car was still moving way too fast.
8-hour drive with me and like 2 of my other friends. And then my friend driving, yeah, he just says, "Can we pull over to a gas station? I don't feel too good." And I'm like looking at the road, and I turn and look to my left, and his head's just bobbling, and he's just like,
Wait, is he driving?
yeah, down the highway, and he's just like dead. His foot though is still on the gas, so we're like slowly going a little faster. Now we're going like 80 or 85.
Yeah.
And I'm
Now
just
it's
like,
getting interesting.
exactly. And I have my hand on the steering wheel. I'm in the passenger seat, and this is a big car with like a console in the middle. So I'm like
driving, and I was just like, we can't go 100 miles an hour. There's cars everywhere. There's a fucking dude riding our ass. And I'm like, my fucking driver's dead. Can you just chill for 5 seconds?
It was the closest thing to death MrBeast has ever experienced, and this story changed his life forever.
Are you afraid of death, by the way?
Yes, it's hard because what if you just die and then you just see nothing forever, you know?
Yeah, the nothingness.
It just fades to blackness and you're just like that for trillions upon trillions to billion squared years, and it's scary.